and show you where that rotation is now.
It looks like it is moving about 35 miles per hour
to the east. Okay, thank you. Jordan just said it's moving 35 miles an hour to the east. So the rotation is not as defined, which is really good news for us, but Underwood, you're right here just east of this center of circulation. So please be in your safe space. Again, that can be anywhere in an interior room with no windows, preferably a tornado shelter or a basement. About to cross Highway 22 as we speak, just at the Baldwin-Hancock County line. Again, this is moving at 35 miles an hour due east. And that's what we're seeing a lot with this storm system, is that all of these storms are starting really in Alabama and just continuing to move directly east across the area. So going east at 35. So our main town being Linton, that's going to be about at your doorstep around 8:03. So Linton, you are in this little cone around 8 o'clock. This rotation could be in your area. So be sure, again, to be in your safe space and have all the things you need for that as well. Now, the rotation, again, is weakening much better than when we saw over the actual city of Milledgeville. But again, still in that tornado warning. It lasts until 8:15 this morning. And I will show you the other things we are concerned about as well on this early Sunday morning with all of these storms in the area. Now, regardless if you're in this tornado warning, you may be in the bigger picture of the severe thunderstorm warning that includes Sparta, Lake Sinclair, still including Milledgeville, and Linton. Now, this is for everybody. Again, this probably has a tornado possible tag and also that large hail we're seeing. So regardless if you're seeing that rotation, you're also just seeing very large hail with this. This is all along this stalled front that is bringing lots of severe weather to parts of the deep south. And this stalled front really was all a part of the cold front we had yesterday that brought severe weather last night that Jordan covered as we headed into Saturday night. But again, that stalled front is where everything is sparking. It acts like a lift mechanism, bringing in that really warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico and just sparking things along that line. So with this, again, here's that stalled front. That's that tornado warning. But notice, regardless of the tornado warning, we have severe thunderstorm warning here, 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 all the way back as you head into Mississippi. Jordan, you have something?
Well, it looks like, according to the chat, they are still saying that a tornado is considerable as we head eastward towards that Sparta area and that closer to I-85. Exit 2 and 6, both directions are closed. So just be careful out there on the roadways. Not only is it wet, but the winds can be pretty strong. It's the type of situation where you do want both hands on the steering wheel, especially if you are out there on the interstate, as the interstate can act as a funnel for strong winds in those areas. And then I was also looking at power outages to see if we had any, and it looks like some areas are out of power, up to 500 people near the Culloden area, if I'm pronouncing that correctly,
yes, you are.
The Yatesville area. So serious situation happening now. This is the start of things. We got a lot of rain just to our northern counties here in central Georgia, and we have a lot to go to. So back to you, Taylor.
Thank you, Jordan. So around the area, again, we're still underneath that tornado warning for Baldwin and Hancock counties until 8:15 a.m. This is where that central circulation is. I zoomed in really close so you can see exactly what streets we're talking about. This is Morgan Springs Road northeast, where that center circulation is heading towards Highway 22 into Underwood Road right there as we head straight into the Underwood as well. So Underwood, again, this is on your doorstep within the next few minutes. Again, going into the Baldwin-Hancock County line, Beulah, you are also within this tornado warning, including Linton as well. But the track is taking a little bit more due east. So we're expecting some of that circulation to come maybe just south of Beulah. Regardless, still strong winds and some very big hail, and that is the main concern for us. Now, the hail was much larger. I'll zoom back out a few minutes ago, where you can see we had blues now weakening. So what this means to us, well, of course, this hail is still right around 1.5 inches in diameter. Not good, but better, because it's showing that this storm is starting to weaken just a little bit. Jordan, you have more information on our severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings?
Looks like it's still saying severe thunderstorm warning in effect with over an inch-sized hail in that area, winds up to 60 miles per hour, and they just extended that for our western counties, for Lamar, Meriwether, Pike, and Upson County. Although over there, I am not seeing any potential for tornado on the radars personally, but still some very strong severe thunderstorms headed through that area nevertheless.
Absolutely. And again, this is all a part of this bigger system that's producing not only the tornado warning as you head into Baldwin County, but we're also having some severe thunderstorm warnings as you head west as well. So I'm going to zoom into where we're seeing some now that could be making its way into the Monroe County very soon. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Lamar and Upson County. So northern Lamar, northern Upson, most of Lamar. Notice again those pink colors. The pink is the indicative of those hail cores. So we're definitely seeing some hail with this one. As we move into the rest of central Georgia, 8:15 a.m. for this one as well. We have a small one as we head into just outside our viewing area. Now, this one is the one we're going to watch as well. Some of these supercells can basically recycle themselves and re-strengthen again. This one produced a confirmed and large tornado just around the LaGrange Pine Mountain area earlier this morning, and it also still has that tornado possible tag. This is just outside of Upson County right here. So we're going to be watching and seeing if this storm is going to recycle itself, re-strengthen as it moves into central Georgia. Now, I want you to notice where these storms are really lining up. It's really across our northern portion of central Georgia. Everywhere else, we may see a few lightning strikes right now, but mainly dry. And I want to also let you know that the severe thunderstorm watch we had got upgraded to a tornado watch. And that's for basically 2/3 of central Georgia, from Hancock County all the way to Dodge County, out into Upson, Taylor, Macon, and Dooley. Everywhere else, that's where we're seeing that severe thunderstorm watch, excluding parts of Crisp and Wilcox counties. So again, everybody, majority of us, had the chance for severe weather today. Again, still keeping our eye on that tornado warning just in Baldwin and Hancock counties. I'm going to assume that the National Weather Service is going to clip down these warnings as they move. So Baldwin County should be out of this tornado warning within the next few minutes.
Also, I do want to mention that it looks like anywhere north of Milledgeville here on the map, we do have over 3,000 people that are without power, more than likely because of the heavy lightning in the area, but also that potential for a tornado. And we are getting some messages in the National Weather Service chat saying that Troup County is reporting multiple houses damaged or leveled in the Cherokee Resort Road area. So if that radar indication wasn't already a strong indication of a tornado being on the ground, they do have pretty strong evidence for that. And it looks like that tornado warning in Baldwin County and Hancock County just got extended, and that will be until 8:15. 9 miles northeast of Milledgeville, and it's now moving at 30 miles per hour compared to the 35 miles per hour that it was moving at.
And like I was saying earlier, we would see these tornado warnings kind of clipped down, and that's what we're seeing now. So Underwood's still in this tornado warning, but it's seeming like, thankfully, the rotation is starting to weaken. I'm not really seeing much clear indication outside of maybe this very broad rotation here along the I-22 area just north of Underwood. So I think that this storm is starting to weaken itself, but of course we still have to be on alert because we still have more storms out to our west. Now, again, like Jordan was saying, pretty strong indication that we had that large confirmed tornado. They also said there could have been multiple injuries as well. Now, I want to show you and see if we can find some debris in the area. And it's looking like I'm going back and then forth as it rolled through. A little bit of debris as you headed into North Baldwin, just right around this area. So not terrible, but again, just shows that something was lofted in the air. So rotation was in the area, but again, this was not a confirmed tornado. This was radar indicated. Again, this tornado warning for Baldwin, extreme northeastern Baldwin County, into Hancock County is until effect until 8:45, all a part of our bigger severe thunderstorm warning that goes into Sparta, out into Worthing, into Linton, and then still parts of Milledgeville. And again, bringing heavy downpours, lightning, and really large hail. And again, like I was saying earlier, this is our best indication that this storm is weakening when you see hail sizes getting smaller and smaller. It's collapsing compared to what we saw earlier when we had the 2-inch, 2.5-inch diameter hail. It seems like, Jordan, you have the SPC outlook up. That's pretty important as well.
That's right, and it's pulling up now. But we are under a level 2 of 5 on our severe weather outlook. I would say that the biggest threat today, although the fact that we do have tornadoes on the ground as we speak, would be a large hail threat. We saw that a lot yesterday, and that's because of the instability. We're seeing temperatures very warm for this morning. That's something we do not usually see this time of year. I think we're over 10 degrees above average for this time of year. And when we have all that instability, that means more lifting mechanisms, more science stuff that ends up producing some pretty strong severe thunderstorms really early in the morning. Typically, we see these thunderstorms later on in the afternoon and the evening, but this is not the situation. Not to say that we won't see storms for the remainder of the day, but this is an all-day event that we will be monitoring. As we said earlier, we can't rule out that small chance for a brief tornado. We've seen that potential already, if not once, twice, and those wind speeds are going to increase, especially if you are in those severe thunderstorm warnings. Those warnings typically are prompted not only because there is a tornado possibly on the ground, but because that means those wind speeds could get up to 60 miles per hour or more. That hail size could get up to an inch and a half, like we're seeing out there in Washington County near Milledgeville into Sparta. So just take those precautions seriously. I know the Cherry Blossom Festival this afternoon, and it's not one of those events where you can just throw a rain jacket on or umbrella on. It's an event where you need to be weather aware all the time.
Absolutely. And again, I just want to say again, this tornado warning still is in effect for Baldwin and Hancock counties until 8:15 a.m. Again, I'm going to assume that this National Weather Service is going to shave off some of these as this storm progresses, and especially as it weakens. But we will go back and see some of that rotation if there's any. Not really any indication right now. Again, when we usually see rotation, we have greens and reds right next to each other. And just as I say that, now the tornado warning is just for Hancock County, still until 8:15 a.m. But notice that the greens and reds aren't right next to each other. That means the winds are going in and out, not seeing that. So again, rotation, if any, is broad, much broader than we saw when it was back in the middle of Baldwin County. Still though, if you live in Linton, you are still included in this tornado warning. If there was to be a tornado out there, it would probably pass to your north, so make sure that you are in your safe space now. Still a part of that broader severe thunderstorm warning, including Sparta out into places into Hancock and Washington counties. So be careful. Around the area, again, still seeing some gusty winds as well. Here's also that severe thunderstorm warning notice, trying to broadly rotate across the area just because we have enough spin. And one of the things we like to show you is our tornado potential graphic that shows you obviously the potential that we could see some type of spin in the atmosphere to get these storms rotating. So right now, showing that we're not in the low end. We're in the low to medium range for this. These are the greens and yellows going up into the scale, and that's for our western counties into the 10 a.m. hour. That will continue as we head into 11 and 12. Our threat should start to subside around 2 to 3 p.m. today. And again, For those who are just now joining us, I want to show you a future view graphic before we kick it back to Suzanne. But for future view, expect some of that rain to persist and the storms to persist right around that boundary. Again, tornado potential graphic showing you this is where we could see some of that spin once again today, and again lasting until about 3 p.m. Suzanne.
Just want to reset you at the top of the hour. You're watching Weekend Warning. Couple of updates for you coming out of Baldwin EMA. 5,400 customers do not have power right now, 780 in Hancock, but we send it right back to the weather team.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. Again, keep sending in your reports for those power outages as well as any hail and damage reports as well, not only to us, but to the National Weather Service so they can inform themselves and the communities who are to your east that may be experiencing these things next. So again, tornado warning for all those who are joining us is in effect for Hancock County, including Linton. So again, a weakening storm cell, thankfully, but still lots of lightning within this. Jordan, do you have something?
Well, it looks like, once again, like you've been mentioning, they did shrink that tornado warning as it starts to weaken. But I do want to note, once again, I think Suzanne mentioned it earlier, Sparta area, they're seeing spots of up to 1,200 and more people without power right now. And then, as I mentioned earlier, parts of, we're getting like different segments of anywhere north of Milledgeville, 1,500, 786 customers without power, over 1,100 customers without power up there in Milledgeville as well. All that combined total is probably close to over 3,000 people just north of that Milledgeville area alone. And they are still looking at a thunderstorm near the Butts County, Jasper County, Jones County, and Monroe County. That warning is up until 8:45. As I mentioned earlier, it's not just the tornadoes that's a strong threat for today with these systems moving through, but also the hail. You can see multiple hail cores across northern Georgia, and this boundary, this stationary front that's affecting much of central Georgia now will make its way southward through the rest of central Georgia, but right now it's really just affecting the northern portion, seeing hail up there towards north and western Upson County, anywhere north of Forsyth, south of High Falls though, east of Lake Sinclair, south of Sparta where that tornado warning is, and just south and west of Warrenton, headed out of Hancock County. So just be extra cautious and be weather aware as we head the next couple of hours.
And again, that tornado warning still in effect for places in Hancock County. But again, from what we saw earlier, about 20 minutes ago, much better in terms of radar when it comes to rotation, and just not really seeing much right now. But regardless of if this is rotating or not, still strong winds. When we have those really bright colors, it shows you that winds are gusting regardless. To get a severe thunderstorm warning, you need to have wind gusts up to 58 miles an hour and some type of hail sometimes. So across here, still in a severe thunderstorm warning as you head into Sparta, south of Linton, still with Milledgeville, with all of that lightning. It's all a part of this bigger thing across a lot of the Deep South with a level 3 risk just to our west. Potential threats for us in the level 2 risk for all of central Georgia is going to be that large hail, what we were seeing earlier, up to 2.5 inches in diameter, tornadoes, and damaging winds. Now, for us throughout the rest of the day, this is what you can expect. It's going to be along this boundary Jordan was just talking about, where we're going to see some of the heaviest stuff rolling right along the I-20 corridor. Maybe some sunshine as you head south and west. Now, for us, some rain will persist and continue, but I think the threat for us will end around 3 o'clock. Again, tornado potential is there for this morning as we head into about 2 p.m. This is not the lowest threat we've seen. This is more of a low to medium. That's why we saw that rotation as we headed into Baldwin County. That's why we had that large confirmed tornado just outside of Pine Mountain in this same area. This is going to spread east as we head throughout the rest of the morning into the early afternoon. So this is 11 a.m., 12 p.m. Notice we're still in those slightly light greens across central portions of central Georgia, which is right in alignment with this tornado watch that we have in effect for our area. That includes basically most of central Georgia, if not 2/3 of it, anywhere from Hancock all the way west to Upson, down into Taylor and into Dooley, and then east once again towards Dodge and Lawrence County. Now, places that are not in this severe thunderstorm watch, tornado watch, are in a severe thunderstorm watch. Places like Jasper, Putnam, Trutland, Montgomery, Wheeler, Telfair, all those except for Crisp and Wilcox. Again, the reason why we're seeing this is the energy we have in the atmosphere. We have really warm temperatures for this time of year. Again, like Jordan was saying earlier, we have temperatures already in the 70s. That's our average high temperature. We're going to see temperatures rise into the 80s, especially in places like Macon and Dooley counties, where we could see some sunshine today before storms start to get going once again. Again, it's all along this boundary that's set up right north of central Georgia that is providing this fuel for these storms in Georgia. So for us across the area, the stationary front is a main thing driving this system, not only from our area into central Georgia, all the way back west into parts of western Alabama. What I watched today when I was up this morning is that these storms have maintained or gained intensity as they've rolled across the Alabama-Georgia border. Just regardless of these severe thunderstorm warnings, look how much lightning we have anywhere from between Birmingham and Montgomery all the way through the Augusta area. So for us, just make sure, regardless if you're in a severe thunderstorm warning, a tornado warning, if you're hearing lightning and thunder, you need to go inside, as well as that large hail threat. Jordan?
And I just want to agree to that. I don't want to say we lucked out because we never really do in these types of situations, but I will say it's nice to know that these tornadoes aren't tracking lengthwise, because we had that tornado warning just west towards Upson County and it weakened considerably, which the evidence for that is not really there because it's very warm outside. The convection is there. All of the resources for these tornadoes to track miles and miles and miles across central Georgia is there. But the fact that that tornado warning right there in Upson County dissipated really quickly is good news to hear, because once these tornadoes start to pop up, they are going to be moving pretty quickly and being in a very rotational area for quite some time. So that's some good news there. But nevertheless, we do still have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Lamar County, Meriwether County, Pike County, and Upson County. Usually the thing that kind of pushes these warnings to be in effect is the hail, and once that hail starts to lift and starts to become no more, then they start to end those warnings. But we are still seeing plenty of hail just north of Thomaston, south of Zebulon, in Upson County, and closer towards Lamar County. Once again, hail in Forsyth, just north of Forsyth, south of High Falls as well. And just taking a look at the reflectivity there, lots of lightning across central Georgia. You definitely want to be indoors. I mean, there's no reason to be out this early in the morning, right? Definitely don't want to be out there cutting your grass, but definitely a lot of lightning out there, lots of hail out there. You want to stay indoors. I know you want to take pictures of the hail. The sun is starting to rise. You can probably see what's going on. You want to see if there's a tornado going on, but why don't we just take a step back, stay indoors until the coast is clear, and then after the fact, maybe 30 minutes after you hear the last lightning strike, you're able to go outside. But I will say once again, these are going to be over us for quite some time throughout the day. I think we will get a break from the rain pretty soon, but for right now, we are going to see some storms over a majority of central Georgia. And one thing I do want to show you guys is we have a thunderstorm energy model that I can show you, showing a lot of the parameters for the potential for a tornado and these severe thunderstorm warnings. And if you notice right off the bat, we're seeing a lot of pink and a lot of red here on the screen. That is representative of the very warm temperatures we have, the instability, the reason that these storms are even developing. And then another thing that is a little bit hard to see, so if you want to go full screen, that would be great. But another important part is the wind shear. We have some red arrows, red wind vectors coming in from the southwest in the upper portions of the atmosphere, and then at the lower portion of the atmosphere, they're coming from the south, and that creates wind shear, a change in wind direction with height. And that's all going to decrease as we head throughout the day in terms of the wind shear. So I can imagine that tornado threat should be lifted as we head towards the afternoon, but we will still have to watch for some severe thunderstorms nevertheless. Back to you, Taylor.
Thank you so much, Jordan. That tornado warning has now been canceled for parts of Hancock County. But again, still seeing that severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. And again, they've extended the severe thunderstorm warning out to parts outside of our area, still with the heavy lightning and the hail possible. Of course, tornado possible. But of course, tornado warning is now over for parts of Baldwin and Hancock counties. Again, we still have the potential for tornadoes as we head into the rest of the morning into the early afternoon, as this boundary just keeps on producing these very intense storms. But we're going to hand it back over to Zidane as we wrap up this coverage.